Alright, welcome back guys. I've been looking at my first Death Knight tanking guide that I put up, and I just put that up for a friend. Um, just ran through it really quick, and I actually made some mistakes when I was making it, so I'm going to remake the video and try and do a better job on Death Knight tanking. In blood spec, anyways. Although, I mean, come on, it is the best spec. So, we're going to take another look at it now that now that I've rewatched that video and caught my mistakes, so going to try and stay out of those this time. We'll go over the build first. Also, I don't know if I said it, but I made that video for one person. I didn't put any effort into that video. I didn't go into in depth on a lot of things that I could have, and I'm actually going to put a little effort into this one. So let's go over the build real quick. First tier, I pick up Blade Barrier, 5 out of 5. This is going to decrease damage taken by 5% whenever your blood runes are on cooldown, and it lasts for 10 seconds. So you'll proc this, and then you'll get your blood runes back, and then put them on cooldown again, ideally. And so this should be up all the time. Next tier, I'm going to pick up two-handed weapon specialization, and then I come back and get subversion. So this is just going to increase your damage with two-handed weapons, all good. Subversion increases critical strike chance of blood strike, scourge strike, heart strike, and we don't care about the rest. I end up, this is just the current build I'm using, but I end up with 4 out of 5 in bladed armor. It's going to give you 4 attack power for every 180 armor you have, which I have 21,500 armor. I don't know how much, I haven't done the math, how much attack power I get from that, but it's a pretty good chunk. Alright, then we're going to go 5 out of 5 in Dark Conviction. Increases your crit chance with weapons, spells, and abilities by 5%. So straight DPS, or straight threat increase there. That's all good. We're picking up Rune Tap, really good defensive cooldown when you need an emergency heal. We're picking up 3 out of 3 improved Rune Tap, and the reason we're this is just giving us double the effect of our Rune Tap. And I know your tooltip down here, when you hover over the ability, says it's going to heal for 10% of your maximum health. That's not true. You can't trust this, because that's not taking your talents into effect. With this, it increases the health provided by 100%. So I'm close to 30,000 health. If it was healing 10%, it would be close to 3,000. Instead, when I hit the ability, it heals almost 6,000. So just don't trust your mouse over like the tooltips on the abilities. I don't know why those don't take talents into effect, but they don't. Then I pick up Spell Deflection. You have a chance equal to your parry chance of taking 45% less damage from a direct damage spell. It's not going to happen all the time, but it's a chance for some extra damage mitigation, so yeah, might as well, right? Next tier, I take Mark of Blood. This is a really good defensive cooldown. Every time the enemy attacks you, or, well, anyone, even if it's not you, if it attacks someone else in your party, it will heal them for 4% of their maximum health, or you, whoever the boss is attacking. Veteran of the Third War, 3 out of 3, we're taking all 3. Increase strength, increase down, get more expertise. All good things. Bloody Strikes, 3 out of 3, increases the damage of your Blood Strike and Heart Strike, and Blood Boil. Blood Boil, I really don't find that useful, but increasing the damage of Heart Strike by 45% is why we're taking that. I'll get more into that in a little while. Next tier, Bloody Vengeance, 3% bonus to physical damage you deal for 30 seconds after dealing a critical strike. And it stacks up to 3 times, so you'll have a 9% bonus to your damage, to your physical damage, anyways. So that's a really good threat increase either way. 2 out of 2 Abomination's Might. This is going to give you a raid buff for your party and for you, increasing your attack power by 10%, and it also increases your strength by 2%. So there's absolutely no reason not to take that. Improved Blood Presence. This is going to make it to where when you're in Frost Presence tanking, you still retain 4% healing from any damage you do. So that's going to increase your self-healing and help you stay alive. 3 out of 3 Bloodworms, because Bloodworms are awesome. They do a lot of healing to you. It's only a 9% chance on your weapon hits to spawn them, but I mean, they're out almost all the time usually. A next tier, Vampiric Blood, probably your most used defensive cooldown. You can use this on every pull. Temporarily grants the Death Knight 15% of maximum health, increases the amount of health generated through spells and effects by 35% for 15 seconds. So, warrior ability, last stand, druid ability, survival instincts, I think. This is the same thing but better, and it's on a 1 minute cooldown. I mean, it's overpowered. You should be using this all the time. Improved Death Strike. Increases the damage of your Death Strike by 30%. And here's the important part. Increases the healing granted by 50%. Again, if you mouse over this ability, it says it will heal you for 5% of your health. For each of your diseases on the target. You have 2 diseases, so 10%. That's not accurate. 10% would be healing for 3,000. With these talents, it bumps it up more to about 4,500 for my particular health pool anyways. So you're actually healing about 15% of your maximum health every time you Death Strike. And that ends up being pretty huge when you're tanking. Next tier, we're taking Heart Strike because why wouldn't we? Blood Strike is just kind of pitiful, and this is way better, and it hits a second target. Kind of a no-brainer. Will of the Necropolis, 3 out of 3. Damage that would take you below 35% health is reduced by 15%. It's kind of a lifesaver if you take a really big hit that would otherwise kill you. Usually it won't when you have this. Might of Mogren increases the critical strike damage bonus of your Blood Boil, Blood Strike, Death Strike, and Heart Strike abilities by 45%. Yes to all of that, except for Blood Boil. I still don't use that ability hardly ever. Blood Gorged. When you are above 75% health, you deal 10% more damage. That should be almost all the time, and usually. So just a straight damage increase. And in addition, your attacks ignore up to 10% of your opponent's armor at all times. So, again, pretty good. I'm moving over to the Frost Tree. 3 out of 3 improved Icy Touch. So, yes, it increases your Icy Touch damage, and that's great. But the main thing about this is, with Pestilence, you will have this on every target around you, and it causes that debuff to reduce melee and ranged attack speed by 6%, so you're going to be taking less damage. I mean, that's a really good talent. Then moving over to the Unholy Tree, 5 out of 5 anticipation. Who doesn't want 5% dodge? 3 out of 3 in morbidity. This is going to reduce the cooldown on your death and decay by 15 seconds. It also increases the damage of your death coil, but we don't really care about that. It's all about the death and decay. Because as fast as these dungeons and raids are going now, with everybody having so much gear, with these talents, you're able to throw down death and decay on the next group just as soon as you want to pull them. What is my cooldown on this now? 15 seconds. So, unless your group is killing packs in less than 15 seconds, you're golden. You can just keep on trucking. You don't have to wait on the cooldown in between packs. And 2 out of 2 epidemic increases the duration of your blood plague and frost fever. 6 seconds. I mean, that's just a really nice quality of life. You can alter this build a good bit if you don't like, if there's something you really want. For instance, you could pull a few of these talents out of blood. For in particular, say spell deflection, because this isn't all that reliable. It's only sometimes, and I mean, yeah, I could see it. You could pull those 3 out. You could pull some points out of bladed armor if you wanted, and throw them into toughness. Get 10% extra armor. That wouldn't be a bad idea at all. You could pick up Unholy Command, reduce the cooldown on your death grip. I mean, there's a pretty good number of variations you could pull on this build, just to find one that you like. If you don't like this one, play around with it a little bit. I mean, it's completely up to you. This is just the build I'm currently using and the one I prefer. Glyphs. We should go over glyphs. Number 1, if you are tanking on a Death Knight, you absolutely want Glyph of Disease. And I know this says your Pestilence ability refreshes durations on your primary target back to their maximum duration. What actually happens is it refreshes your debuffs on every target. So it's a lifesaver. What that means is on your second when your Icy Touch and your Plague Strike debuffs are about to fall off the target, instead of having to spend a Frost and an Unholy Rune to reapply your debuffs, you're spending 1 Blood Rune to reapply your debuffs. And what that's going to do, that's just going to let you have an extra Death Strike that you wouldn't have if you had to reapply your debuffs with Icy Touch and Plague Strike. So it'll just increase the amount of self-healing you're doing. A Glyph of Vampiric Blood increases the duration of your Vampiric Blood by 5 seconds. Again, that's should be your most used defensive talent anyways, or defensive cooldown. So that's a really good glyph to pick up. And last, Glyph of Death and Decay increases the damage of your Death and Decay by 20%. And like I said, the way groups are just flying through dungeons and raids now, this is absolutely something you want. Minor glyphs, I'm running Glyph of Raised Dead, so I don't need a regent for Raised Dead anymore. And Horn of Winter increases the duration of Horn of Winter by 1 minute. I mean, those are just the ones I like. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you a little bit of what your rotation will look like. Let's go get this elite here. So if you're going to pull a boss, we'll put our Horn of Winter on. It's Icy Touch, Plague Strike, Death Strike, Heart Strike. You know, don't use Death Coil. You're using Rune Strike when you're tanking, so you'll heal more. Death Strike every chance, Death Strike every chance you get. Healing a ton. Now, I'm going to stop right now. That is pretty much your basic rotation. All you really have to do at this point is keep hitting Pestilence. Keeps your debuffs up on the boss, and Death Strike as much as possible, right? What I was wanting to show you is you'll notice, like, every time I hit the target with my weapon, you'll see the green healing popping up. That's from the improved blood presence, to where I'm retaining my healing from blood presence even while I'm in frost presence. A lot of people won't notice it that much, but it is there. So also, I mean, just look at the sheer amount of healing you're able to do with it's insane. Now, let's say you didn't want, let's say it's more of an AoE pull. I mean, it's just too easy, right? For an AoE pull, all you're doing, Death and Decay, putting Icy Touch, Plague Strike, Pestilence. There's your AoE pull. Done. So it just doesn't get much easier than that, and you basically just healing yourself, keep your damage up, more Death and Decay, whatever you feel like doing. As far as cooldowns on the Death Knight, usually what I do is I pop Vampiric Blood the most because it's got the shortest cooldown, right? Once you have your Death and Decay up, though, or once you have your Vampiric Blood up, though, if that cooldown drops off and you're still worried, pop your Icebound Fortitude. That's going to reduce the damage you take by 30%. And it increases based on your defense rating. I don't know how much it increases. I have no idea. I don't think there's any way to tell how much it would actually be. So, you know, Blizzard and their little tooltips, that is not helpful. I don't know how to figure it out. After my Icebound Fortitude falls off, if I'm still worried, Mark of Blood. Throw that up. That's going to carry you over. That's going to help you bridge the gap between your Icebound Fortitude going on cooldown and your Vampiric Blood coming off of cooldown. So you'll be able to get your Vampiric Blood up, should be, while Mark of Blood is still active. So you can have a pretty good amount of damage reduction and self-healing going all the time if you're really worried. Say your healer dies. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. Then your big oh shit cooldown, I need to heal a lot. You have to raise dead, and then Death Pact. That's going to heal you for 40% of your maximum health. So, not counting if I pop this while my Vampiric Blood was active, 40%. Geez, how much would that be? 12,000? It's gonna heal me for 12,000 hit points. Around about 12,000 hit points at my current health pool. Stat priority when you're looking at building. Oh, wait. I have one more cooldown. Anti-magic shell. Costs you 20 runic power to activate, but this was really good if you know you're about to take spell damage. I mean, 45-second cooldown, there's no reason not to use it if you see a spell coming in. Also, Empower Rune Weapon. This one gets overlooked a lot. But when you activate this, it's automatically going to give you 25 runic power, but it also brings all of your runes off cooldown. So what you could do, if you wanted to, is go pull a boss, do Icy Touch, Plague Strike, 2 Death Strikes, and a Heart Strike. 2 Heart Strikes. And then pop your Empower Rune Weapon and immediately do 2 more Death Strikes and 2 more Heart Strikes. So you could put out an insane amount of self-healing in a really short period of time if you needed to with that. And a lot of people overlook it, but it is there. Now, stat priority when you're trying to gear, you're looking for 540 defense rating. Parry, block, or parry and dodge are both good stats, but the main thing you're really wanting to stack as a Death Knight is stam, because all of your self-healing abilities are percentage based and will heal a certain percentage of your health pool. So the bigger health pool you have, the more you're going to be healing yourself. So like I said, at 30,000 hit points, I'm healing for, what was it, 4,500 on every Death Strike, and that's without having Vampiric Blood up. And my rune tap was, what, 6,000? I can pop that every 30 seconds. So the higher your health pool goes up, though, the more these abilities are going to heal for, and the more just stupid, insane pulls you can survive. I mean, dodge and parry are great. They are. Get as much as you can, but definitely stack stam. That's your biggest help in surviving, is your own self-healing. Alright, so that's all I've got for you on this. I just wanted to redo this video and do a little bit better job of it, because I kind of hurried the first one I did, and I made some mistakes, and just really wanted to fix that. Well, the worst one I made in that first video I did was, I actually told y'all to put a point in Death Rune Mastery, and it, you know, I don't know why I had a point in that. This is the most useless talent for a Blood Death Knight, because it's actually harmful to have this talent, because it's going to take your Frost and your Unholy runes and convert them to Death runes. Now, Death runes can be used as Frost, Unholy, or Blood, but what you'll find is you always want your Death and your Frost and your Unholy runes activated, because you need them to Death Strike. So you don't want those turning into a Death rune where you could waste it on a heart strike or a pestilence and then not be able to heal yourself. So definitely stay away from that talent. I can't believe I made that mistake in the first video. But like I say, I just wanted to do a little better job on this video than I did the first time. I hope y'all like it. I hope this is helpful for people. Leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.